Hey there, Combo Cabal, Bryant Cook here, and once again we're playing in a vintage challenge with Underworld Outcome. I recorded a video on this list just a few days ago. Make sure to check that out for in-depth deck breakdown. And if you're interested in this list, you can find it in the description below. I'm not going to take the time today to describe this list to you because, well, I did it in that video. We're already paired for round number 1. We're going to hop right on in, and we're facing geekyjackson. According to Goldfish, this player has been on Dredge recently, as well as Doomsday. So, um, yeah, this hand's pretty great. We're definitely going to keep this. And you might notice that I might be a little bit higher up on the screen. I have an awful back and I bought some lumbar support, so now I'm like an inch higher. I don't know if it's better or worse, but here I am taller for you. Alright, so our opponent's mulliganed. Alright, well, it's not Dredge. Well, that'd be a pretty good reason to keep a hand without a land. And there's the mental misstep to punish me. Maybe that was a mistake playing my land first, because if I drew a red source, that was dumb. I was worried about days when they can't have it. And I'm just going to pass. Alright, so this is Doomsday. I've seen porn in Doomsday before. Another Whisper. I don't know how I feel about our spot yet. The opponent and I are pretty even on cards. They mulliganed and resolved Ancestral. We resolved Two Knights Whisper. So we've broken even on cards regardless when they had the best card in their deck and we haven't found ours yet. The thing is, can we live long enough? I'm just going to snap this off. It's one of our best targets. With Ancestral gone, it just makes a lot of sense. I thought about countering this, but I don't think that's correct. And they did not shuffle off Ponder. I mean, those are pretty good top. So we're going to draw Vamp after we draw Probe. So we might be able to win this turn. Pretty sure we win. Take that, Doomsday. Now we go get Brain Freeze, Flop Top, freeze ourselves, and win. And our opponent sees the writing on the wall, and we're going to go to game 2. Definitely bringing in these Flustas. No reason to board in the Tinker Plan. Blightsteel isn't that great in the matchup. We will be siding out the circles. And the Soul Guide. The Soul Guide doesn't do a whole lot here. Really liking this list so far. Like, it just feels really clean. And while we wait to start round number 2, please consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate your support for this channel. Help me create more great vintage content for you. So go to the description, follow all the social links, but also make sure to subscribe. Game number 2. All right, we're on the draw. We've opened up a solid hand. I think we're going to try this. Do I want to play Remora out yet? I don't think so. I think I want to wait one turn. So now they can activate library. I have to imagine Remora is pretty good in this matchup. So by playing Lotus out here, we do get to have Fluster Brain Freeze up on their combo turn. And this is the reason I chose to wait a turn to play Remora, is that I wanted to be able to set myself up a little bit more. Well, I'm going to counter that. Let's draw a card. It's a shame I pitched that the Brain Freeze now. Another subtly nice thing about this is that our opponent's pretty far away from the library being active again. They're down to 4 cards. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. We're going to do blue here. So if I wait a turn to cast that, Um, well, black would have been actually been nice. Is I end up tapping 2 lands next turn to the Remora, and I can't tap 2 lands to cast Whisper again, regardless. So it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So the Remora drew 1 card so far, so it's already broken even, which is always nice. Alright, well now it's round 2. And I'm going to attempt to force this. We could get got by a fluster here. And we did. Alright, so Remora has been Ancestral Recall so far this game. And I'm probably going to take the natural draw off the top here, because I have to pay 2 in the upkeep, and if I upkeep top, if I draw a land, I can't Whisper or an artifact mana. Alright, I'm just going to pass here. Well, these are all pretty good. Alright, time for Remora to go. I think I'm going to play it safe here and just pass. We are at risk of death here. And I think it's sort of interesting that our opponent played out a land in last turn instead of holding it for library. Alright, so now their Ancestral resolves. And it actually worked out perfect that they're going to have 7 cards in hand going up to 8. But it's interesting that they drew a card on the end step because now they have to discard. I think that was a mistake. We don't really need another Whisper. Or this Volk. So I think I'm going to take the Vamp. Let's fire off the Probe. Actually, I wonder if I should just Vamp for Fluster here. Yeah, I think that's the play. Because then we can play Breach and then double fluster back up. Sure. Force fluster. We've played a land already. Lotus is in the graveyard. That was good. That was actually perfect, because now we can play Breach with double backup. Just the strength of this list to be able to grind is really nice. Like the Four Whispers, the Remoras, everything else. It's just been really great. And then on top of that, they gave us Lurrus. I guess Lurrus is hidden here, but... And now we fluster the Force, and we win. Whoop, whoop. 1-0 in the Vintage Challenge over Doomsday. Don't go anywhere. Round 2 will be coming up in just a second. And yeah, Underworld Outcome. I think today's going to be a good day for us. Hopefully that's true. Yeah. Hey there, round number 2. We're facing McWinSauce and we are on the play. Reveal our companion, Lurrus. Looks like our opponent might also be a Lurrus deck. And I'm going to try this. This hand seems great to me. Nice, it resolves. One cool thing about this deck that I haven't mentioned in either video is that you can breach back Remora just to reset it. Like do a value breach, get back Remora. It's pretty nice. Our opponent is just passing. Great draw. And we will pay for the Remora again. That was a really good draw. Because now this next turn is going to be sweet. We're going to PO in the upkeep and have Fluster back up. And hopefully we draw a blue card if they try to counter. I need to turn off auto yields. Blue card, blue card, blue card. Aw, Knight's Whisper. This is the only time I've ever wished you were preordained. Do I fight here? I think the answer is yes. Really? That's quite the surprise. I think I did that wrong. In my head, I was tapping the blue for Remora, and then I cast Mana Vault. So that was a mistake on my part. It's okay, though. It's not the end of the world. And I'm not sure what our opponent's doing, but we're definitely bullying them a little bit here. It might be like the PO Mirror. It could just be like an Esper midrange deck. I don't really know. But we're going to get rid of the Hercules. Let's bring in the Flusters. Like, it doesn't affect our game plan that much. They are a Lurrus deck. Maybe I don't want to get rid of the Soul Guide. Also, should I be playing a Caracas in my board? I like that's a card I haven't reconsidered until now. Maybe I should be. It could be Breach. What if I just take out Vamp? It is card disadvantage. It's like Vamp or Opal 2. And if you're boarding out Opal 2, PO gets a little bit worse. I think I'm okay with taking out Vamp. I know that I thought for a long time on that, but I think it's probably the correct choice to keep my deck running efficiently. We had our first PO win of the day. Reveal this. And theoretically, this opal could have been a vamp, but like vamp's not even good here, so we have a decent hand. We'll want to draw a black source for this whisper. I'm not going to misstep a preordain. Ruby wasn't a bad draw. Going to represent strength here. I'm not going to play out the opal. I'd rather just pretend that I have 6 stellar cards in hand. Is Doomsday a deck that can play Lurrus? Theoretically, your opponent could be on Doomsday. The one downside of playing Doomsday Lurrus is you lose Necro. So does Lurrus outweigh Necro? I guess is a question there. Yeah, you can demonic. They could theoretically be a Doomsday deck. This would upkeep Ancestral. Force a negation, maybe? Happy with the top draw because now Opal's live. It's kind of brutal. I think I need to force this. Next turn they can Lurrus. Well, put Lurrus to their hand at least. Perfect draw. Do I want to play out Soul Guide or do I want to hold open Pyroblast? I think I probably want to hold open Pyroblast. I would expect that this turn is just put Lurrus to my hand. Alright, so they're not Breach. So I could play out Soul Guide here, but then I don't have Pyroblast backup, so I'm not going to do that. And I believe that we probably have this game won. And I say probably because that could not be true, but I'm going to attempt to win here. Our opponent seems like they're F6'd. And that's the match. So we're now 2-0 with Underworld Outcome. Don't go anywhere. This list is super strong. I think it's really good at beating blue decks. And hope that continues to be true. Don't go anywhere. Again, stay here. Please don't leave. All right, no more of that shit. 2-0. Welcome to round number 3. We're facing Gozzito. In my video that I recorded just a few days ago, we actually faced Gozzito in that league, and they were on Hogak Vine. We're going to assume that they're on the same deck. So this is a turn 1 PO for 2 into Breach. I think that's probably fine. This Pyroblast is a dead card, but sometimes you have those. Let's try it out. Another artifact would be terrific. Instead of this being inspiration, it could be, you know, I don't know. Concentrate. There we go. It looks like they're on Dredge today. Another Pyroblast. Not ideal. I do have the main deck Soul Guide Lantern. And that's why I did not cast PO. Wow, they had Force too. Holy crap. Jeez. We're in trouble. So Ancestral Recall is obviously like our best draw, but a red source would help get us closer as well. Is that even a card I want to play? I mean, might as well. Maybe they like hit a couple of therapy and decide it's worth casting. I don't know. But I think we're probably like we're taking 8 this turn, 11 with the Ichard. So our next draw step has to win. It's a creeping chill, so that doesn't matter. And there's the therapy. Well, they cast it. So we're taking 8. They have lethal on board. Therapy me. Hercules is a bad draw. I don't think we're going to be able to win this one, unfortunately. I wish I had a Black Lotus in my hand. Black Lotus. None of those do anything. Come on, Black Lotus. That was close to winning. Just not quite good enough. Alright, game 2. Not the end of the world. We were on the draw. Our opponent had a really strong start. It happens. Is Tinker Blightsteel better than Lurrus? That's a really good question. I don't think the Remoras are that great here. They also force you to leave them a lot of mana up, or tap down a lot of mana in a very fast matchup. I don't like that. I'm going to board out the Hercules. Probably board out these Whispers too. Like, this isn't really a value game. So that leaves us at 60. Misstep's not that good. Usually I don't leave Pyroblast and Flusters in those numbers. So, like, I could do this and, like, just ignore Lurrus. Yeah, let's do that. I like that configuration quite a bit. We kept 7 and we lost game 1 into the spreadsheet. And I guess I'll chill for a second while we wait. If you're interested, the epicstorm.com/shop has a token pack. You get 54 tokens overall. Whoops, not the one I meant to click. You get 9 goblin tokens on the back. Different goblin tokens, that is. So you get 6 of each. And they're mini. They're half the size of your standard Magic the Gathering card. You can get those once again at the epicstorm.com/shop. Alright, game 2. We are on the play. Blightsteel Colossus, my old friend. Get out of my hand. Think we're supposed to keep this? I guess we win with Blightsteel. Brutal. No Bazaar. And of course we draw the Sapphire. These have been some brutal draws. We could fire off the Breach to get Needle back. I just don't think it's worth it. Our opponent doesn't even have an active Bazaar yet. And it's pretty likely that they have a Force, I think. And no Dredger. Alright, in their upkeep, I'm going to Ancestral. Plays around Force of Negation. And we can always breach, well, that was unfortunate. I guess I can move to clean up and discard Blightsteel. This has been a wild game to say the least. Sure. I think I might actually brain freeze myself here. Gives me more fuel for the breach. All these Icarids, they must have a bunch of counter spells. I know that I was probably going to try to win that turn. I just don't see the reason to force it. Like, they definitely have some sort of interaction. I'd love to drop Brainstorm and get rid of these. Alright, well, they have their first Dredger. Good draw. Pitches Mindbreak Trap. You can't Mindbreak Trap. Alright, so we stole game number 2. I don't think I have a good solution to Leyline of Sanctity other than the Blightsteel Jailer attacking wins. It's worth noting, Soul Guide says each opponent's graveyard, so it does get around Leyline. It just shuts off these Brain Freeze wins. Alright, we're just going to resubmit the same list. Well, this is quite the hand. I think I'm actually going to try this. Sure. Would have preferred to draw a land there, but, you know, can't complain too much. Opal's good. this our hand might be too slow. We'll find out. Therapy's kind of tough here. And now they're getting back double amalgam. Jeez. Could be dead. So we can pitch a number of cards here. Part of the issue is that we need PO to win, I think. And we know that we're drawing an opal that doesn't work with the rest of what we have, so I think I have to pitch force here. And then we're going to lose to whatever free card they have in their hand. I could draw Fluster, but we then have to hit more. We have to spend a mana to recast top to turn on opal, and we would have to hit perfects off the brainstorm. I think we just have to force pitch force. And unfortunately, this hand just didn't pan out. Come on, Miracle Brainstorm. So I'm trying to think here. I can vamp to shuffle. So an obvious choice here would be to get Black Lotus, but that's one less draw. So I think it might actually be better to get Sapphire over Lotus here. And now we need, 3 perfects underneath the top. So we have to get pretty lucky. I mean, that was good, but now we need to top into something really good. Like another PO, maybe? They're at 36 cards in deck. Theoretically, a Brain Freeze could deck them, but we die to Creeping Chill if they left them in. Alright, that's not going to do it. So let's look at our outs while we fetch. We have 3 POs. Breach isn't an out. We've cast our Brainstorm. So the question is, do we try to top to hit Ancestral, or do you just flop top and put top on top, aka flopping top, and try to hit one of your 3 remaining POs? Also, once again, I could take the Brain Freeze. So I guess it's Brain Freeze is technically an out too because I could Brain Freeze and hope that they didn't leave and chill. I think I'm going to top. If only we had Citadel in our deck, we could still stand a chance. But as of right now, we're just dead. Um, yeah, this just doesn't matter. Yeah, we're just dead. So we're going to end up being 2-1, losing to Dredge. It was a pretty good match, and we came close to winning this game. Just fell a little bit short. Our second PO that we hit was Land, Needle, Fluster, and another Mox, I believe. And that just wasn't good enough. So we needed the second PO to be better, but it's a little risky, I guess. And they've dredged a bunch of their deck, and I'm not seeing any chills yet. So maybe if we hit Brain Freeze there, that could have been a win. Unless they're all in the bottom 25 cards of their library. Yeah, they definitely took out chills. So if we had found Brain Freeze there, that could have been lethal. And instead, we are 2-1. Round number 4. We are facing SourceOdin, and we are on the play. According to Goldfish, this person plays a lot of 4-color Breach. Sure. Like, I don't think this hand is that good, but triple counter's okay. They didn't reveal Lurrus, which is interesting. Like, it's a pretty easy slot into a lot of these lists. No point in countering Probe, I think. It's quite the hand. Because we have double Pyro, I'm going to get the Volk. Hopefully we don't ponder into a black card we need. I just don't think these cards are good enough. I'm going to shuffle. So they could be on PO, they could be on Breach. Right now it's looking like Breach. And there's our own. If we get Lotus here, we win. Pearl. I think I'm supposed to try to win right now. Oh no, I milled my other Volk. Oh no! Oh geez. That's actually quite a bit of an issue. Um, and I doubled down on my mistake and didn't get a black source there. Fuck. Like I misplayed this turn very hard. Um, I'm just gonna pass. Our opponent's just flooding. Yep. They're deciding on this other Misty. And I'm pretty convinced that they're actually on Breach now. Triple Volk is a pretty dead giveaway. That brain freeze, like that entire sequence of turns, like I just threw away. We probably should have won this game already. But I think if we get to untap, I'm in a good spot. Like I think if our opponent passes, I'm going to try to kill them. So they probably have another Pyro because they know that we have Force in hand. So there's a good chance we're just dead here. Interesting. We can't cast the Pyroblast, so there's very little reason to keep it in our hand. And I think I got pretty lucky, if I'm being completely honest. And our opponent is conceded. So we have one game won against 4-color Underworld Breach. And I think in this matchup, I'd rather have Lurrus than Tinker Blightsteel. So once again, I do want these Flusters. And out with the Hercules, and I think Vamp. Like, I think just, as I said in the previous match against the Esper Midrange deck, I think it's better to have Opal in your deck to make sure that your outcomes are still good. They are a black source for your Whispers, too. Like, top deck tutors aren't terrific in these sort of grindy matchups. I understand Vamp is usually the exception because it is by far the best top deck tutor. That said, no card is untouchable, so I'm going to board like this. And I realized that we only won that because our opponent flooded, but sometimes that happens. I also played very poorly that first game. All right, and Lurrus. Great hand. Like, I think I just threw away that game like 3 different times in that one turn. All right, so this was a bad draw. What are they doing? Fluster? Sure. They missed their land drop. So I think I'm going to try to punish them a little bit here and try to PO before they can play Pyroblast. And I'm doing it main phase because if I draw Pyro, I want to be... And there we go. I want to be able to recast the Ruby so I can Pyro. And I don't really care that much about the ley line because we can still brain freeze through that. So let's say I want to play out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 24 cards. Like, we're still so far away. But one thing I think that I am willing to do here is Remora, get Lurrus, and then pass. Like, Lurrus is strictly a beater here. We have no way of getting rid of the ley line. I don't even know if I care. Pretty good magic card. We have successfully cast Lurrus for the first time in this event. And I'm going to pass. I could have tried to Ancestral there. You've already used a Fluster. Goodbye, Breach. My win condition's in play. Our opponent has 6 turns. What is this? I've talked about it in that first video I did with this list, but Remora and Lurrus lend themselves to playing a paradoxical outcome build because you do have so much extra mana, as you saw here. And we're just really getting to take advantage of that. Should I try to PO here? I think the answer is yes. You also get to reset the Remora. Storm 8. We don't have another blue source, but once again, I don't think I'm getting up to 48 cards, so that doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to effectively use my cards here, so I'm not discarding too much. Really have to get rid of another? We've Ancestraled, so I actually don't think this Merchant Scroll's that good. I guess it gets another PO. Maybe the Remora then. We're this far ahead and we haven't even cast a Night's Whisper this game. We still have 4 Whispers in the deck. That said, we have resolved 2 POs and an Ancestral. Let's untap that. So I think they're probably Grix's midrange. Like they're the uh, Hull Breacher Tinker deck. I don't think that they're Breach anymore, but they could be. We did see 3 Volks, but I think the Grix's Breacher deck might also have that. Bad posture. I should sit upright. Trying to be better about it. Opponent's thinking here. You can have a demonic tutor. I feel like we're really getting to see Remora shine this match as well. It was pretty good in one of the previous ones today. A lot more higher impact than a card like Preordain. Opponent's tanking pretty hard here. So if they had something like Caracas, they could theoretically try to pigeonhole us on interesting. Like bouncing Lurrus and saying, "Hey, I have this ley line. You pitched a brain freeze. I don't think you can win," and then just focus their game plan on stopping this. That would be one way for our opponent to win. I don't know how good Gush was, to be honest, but sure. Painful Truths theoretically could be in the Breach deck. And there's our favorite card, Paradoxical Outcome. So we realistically can only be stopped here by a Fluster, so we should just get our own. So if they are on breach, they could have a brain freeze and try to kill us in response to the Remora draw. So I'm not going to play out Remora again, if you're wondering why I haven't done that yet. So I think you lose this game by not thinking everything through. I'd actually really like to find my probe. I don't know if that's possible, though. Without drawing a card and putting herself at risk. I guess we do have double brain freeze. Like, why am I... Or double flusterstorm for brain freeze. Why am I trying to play around all that silly stuff? And there's our probe. What are you playing? Alright, so it is 4-color breach. Alright, so this is going to mill them for 45. And now we just wait for our opponent to try to do something. This is a PO win because Breach was on lockdown, and our opponent just conceded. All right, so that puts us up to 4-1 with 3-1 with 3 rounds to go. Getting old, forgetting these things. Okay, round number 5. We are facing Viceroy, who exclusively plays Dredge. I'm a little nervous. This is, we lost our first round of Dredge. They've exiled a couple cards here to Serum Powder. Yeah, so these brain freezes are a little bit awkward. They are starting the game on 39 cards, which is interesting. I'm going to try this. They're on the Noxious Revival build, too, which means if we try to deck them with Brain Freeze, they could end up putting a card on top. I think I'm just going to start on Whisper. It's worth noting that if we could somehow stick a Breach, that would be lethal at this point. running headfirst into Force of Vigor here. Alright, we have another top. That's not the end of the world. A long pause there. Definitely in a little bit of trouble. Alright, so 1 Force of Will, 2 Force of Will, 3 copies of Force of Will gone. I haven't seen Mindbreak Trap yet. So we're going to 10. They're going to have Amalgams coming back, so our next turn will be our last. I imagine here they name Outcome. And they did. We haven't seen Mindbreak Trap yet. They could still have, like, I don't know how many lists their, how many force negations their list has, but we do have to play around counter spells. They have 1 Dredger in hand. We know that much. 1 force negation in their last list. 2 Noxious Revival. So if they're playing the same list as last time, they have 1 Force of Will left. Not that great of a draw. They've used... Alright, I think I'm supposed to just cast this roll here. So that resolved pretty quickly. I think I'm supposed to get Ancestral. So Brain Freeze for 4 plus Brain Freeze for 5. So that would deck them, assuming that they don't have the last Noxious in their hand. I could also ponder. So we also haven't seen any Creeping Chill yet. There's a chance they could all be in the bottom 26 cards of their deck. They could also not be playing it. A Breach would allow us to beat that. So I think I'm going to try to ponder here for Breach. And there it is. Wow, we took game 1 from Dredge. Alright, so Jailers come back. Can feel my heart skipping a little. beating very fast. It was an exciting game. Oh, it's the Remoras. Yeah, let's get rid of those. Yeah, this seems good to me. Woot woot. And as always, if you want to support this content, if you appreciate vintage content, theepicstorm.com/shop. We do have some vintage cards up there. I still have not sold that Japanese Tolarian Academy. Please buy it from me. I don't want to own it. I don't need 2 Japanese academies. Please, please, please take it off my hands. We also have things like Simplified Chinese Mental Missteps. There's a bunch of cool stuff up there. Visit theepicstorm.com/shop. Game number 2. On the draw. This hand obviously doesn't do anything. We're going to ship it. And we get to bottom our favorite friend Blightsteel. They've mulliganed to 6 and then used Serum Powder. They removed 2 Narc Amoebas. And there's the Chills. So they did have them in their deck. So I definitely took the right line in game 1. Oh, geez. So if they upkeep activate, I'm going to try to PO. Maybe they don't have a force yet. So they need Force of Will here. Force of Negation and Force of Vigor do not stop us. And they have Force of Will. They only had 3 in their deck for what it's worth. Alright, so now they take their draw and they're dredging. So they have... Okay, so that puts them in a very fast situation. We're looking here to find our main deck Soul Guide Lantern. Needle would also be good. Speaking of Needle. So they're going to discard their hand. We can close the door if we find the main deck Soul Guide right now. It's only 1 of, though. They have no hand. Tinker does get Blightsteel. This is a really good ponder. Is it good enough? So they have 3 Icarids, so we're taking 9. I think I'm supposed to just go get an outcome here. Actually, wait, that was dumb. They have Cabal Therapy in their graveyard. Ah, I just punted. That was really dumb of me. I might have just thrown this game. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there. So it's worth noting that Tinker wasn't good enough due to the Icarids, but I shouldn't have cast the Merchant Scroll. I should have just passed. Because now I get punished by Cabal Therapy because they know the one card we have in hand. And now I have to draw a live action spell. I got Brain Freeze because like they can Cabal Therapy it away. If for some reason we like draw Red Source plus Breach, we can win by getting Brain Freeze, which is why I grabbed it. Come on, deck. We have 3 POs in there. Let's draw one. Throw away the game. That was silly of me. I'm just going to resubmit the same deck list here. Update my spreadsheet real quick. We're on the play in Game 3 against Dredge. Alright. And I guess I'll show while we wait. If you don't want card singles, but you still want to support this content, we do have cool stuff in our shop that are not card singles related. We have a pint glass, which I love to drink out of, baseball tees, traditional tees, the token pack, which I highly recommend that I've already gone over, stickers, playmats, tons of cool stuff. theepicstorm.com/shop. All right, game 3 on the play. I don't think you can ship this. I mean, it does get wrecked by Force of Vigor, though. Alright, so we really want to draw Flusterstorm. So they know our draw now. Just have to pass. I'm not playing the Soul Guide once again to avoid Force of Vigor. Jailer would be one of our better draws. All right, that was a very good draw. We're going to be able to hardcast Blightsteel at this point. I'm just going to pass. So they found a Bazaar. We flooded out a little bit here, which is unfortunate. We really still need to find a jailer. I might start considering sacrificing the Soul Guide, but I really don't want to. Just to draw a card. They were taking a very long time here. By not playing the Lotus Petal, we're actually avoiding Mindbreak Trap here. Like, if we got into a bigger counter war, we'd be avoiding Mindbreak. I think I just need to pass. Love a brainstorm. Something. Top would be great. So I can upkeep PO. Alright, so let's now upkeep PO. So we might be able to deck our opponent with a brain freeze because they're putting us to 15. Even if they still have all 4 creeping chills in their deck, that's only 12. Dead card. We need to reach Storm 15 this turn. So let's talk about how this might play out. It's from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That would put them close to being decked, but not quite good enough. I think I need to go for it, though. I guess I could always just peel on their upkeep again and avoid Mindbreak Trap and Force Negation. Yeah, I think that's the plan. Why play into their stuff? Like, we just dodged Force Negation and Mindbreak that way. Alright, it's time to cast spells. Really? Was not expecting that. We did see in game 2 that they're running both surgicals and ley lines, which is kind of bananas. And our opponent is conceded. We've beaten Dredge. We are now 4-1? 4-1 with 2 rounds to go. How crazy is that? Underworld Outcome looking very strong so far. Let's finish out. Welcome to round number 6. We are facing twinlesstwin. We are on the draw. And they typically play Breach in Vintage. I think this hand is not that good, but it's probably fine enough if our opponent's actually on Breach. We have a counter for Ancestral. Whisper gets us ahead. This trio is either going to eventually draw enough artifacts or pitch to a Force of Will. I think that this is just fine. Obviously, I'd love to draw a Mox on turn 1 to cast this Whisper. I think I have to misstep this. With how weak our hand is, I can't let them see. Come on, give me a Mox deck. And not Opal. Another PO isn't great. I'm fetching to thin here because I don't really want to draw any more lands. But it's also great for Underworld Breach. Mana Crypt is fine for PO, I suppose. Getting Lurrus. Well, that would make sense with having that. I think I take a draw here. Another land. So mana is no longer a bottleneck for our opponent because they have this Lotus Lurrus interaction. So we know that our opponent still has 2 lands in hand out of their 6 because they played a fetch. Is this a cruise? Dig maybe? Dig. Two lands and 5 unknowns. So they're on Jeskai. I guess this could still be Breach. We're at 10. We actually don't have a whole lot of time. I think I just have to get... If I get Pyroblast, they just keep on bringing it back every turn with Lurrus. Could get Breach and try to cantrip into a win. Seems like wishful thinking, though. I can't imagine that this resolves, but our hand just doesn't do anything. Like, we just flooded really hard this game, unfortunately. Like, I kept a 4-lander and then just, like, drew a lot of mana. And, I mean, that's partially on me for keeping that hand, but I thought we'd, 13 lands. Maybe not draw too many of them. Force pitch force. So we're taking 5 here and going to 3. We're dead to a lightning bolt. Alright. So this is probably Xerox and not Breach, if I had to guess. Like, technically Breach can play 1 bolt. It's just, like, not super common. So we definitely want these flusters. I mean, I don't think it really makes a difference what they're on, to be completely honest. I'm going to board the same way. Yeah. And if you're unfamiliar with my content, the Eternal Glory podcast, we're available on all major podcast platforms. We primarily discuss Legacy. It is myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Koval and Phil Gallagher. Okay, game number 2 on the play. Reveal this Lurrus. Very good hand. I chose not to cast Ancestral because I want Pyroblast back up, but maybe that was a mistake. Who knows? I think here I'm just going to pass. Brainstorm is a pitch card for Force. I think I'm going to let that go. It's a good draw. So you could argue that like I could tap out for Lurrus right there. I don't think that's the best decision personally. And I've decided that this is going to be my spot, for better or for worse. Like, I just can't let them keep on digging for pyroblasts. And maybe next turn I can set up for some breach shenanigans. Opponent thinking pretty hard on this. And it resolved. I want to see if I can get rid of these two lands. No was the answer. They're down to 4 cards in hand, that is. Interesting. Will this win? Alright, so Merchant Scroll for Brain Freeze. We have exactly enough mana for that. Could get wrecked by another Pyroblast. But I think I'm going to go for it. Escape, removing 3 lands. Alright, feel a little bit better that that resolved. Whisper. Alright, and our opponent's conceded. So Breach was able to get game 2 for us. Once again, I'm not changing anything. I'm just going to resubmit. And what turn was that? Turn 4. Part of the reason I was willing to go for it in that particular turn was I knew that I had Lurrus coming down to back it up, which was just really nice. This hand is pretty good. If we draw Breach, it's just insane. Jeez, we're in trouble. Shit. Alright, so they're on Breach if they have a C in there. It's not Jeskai. Come on, deck. Give me something good. They have their own soul guide, so Breach is not on the table for us anymore. I just don't think we show them that we drew Delta. Now we exile the Ancestral. Really? They're going to fight? Okay. Definitely feels like our opponent's ahead right now. We have 4 Night's Whispers and 1 Ancestral. I would love to draw. Putting Lurrus to their hand. Painful Truths. Sure. Yeah, we're pretty far behind right now. That's an embarrassing draw. We're just getting buried. And they know 4 out of our 5 cards. Adding 3 red. So maybe they're not a breach deck. Maybe they're just like 4 color. I think we want to draw like an artifact for PO, but I mean, I can't imagine we're still on this game. Have to pass. That was our window right there. Like a mana vault or like a mana crypt would have been really good. Instead, I think now we're just losing. I guess like theoretically I can try to like brain freeze them if I draw like the other brain freeze, but that doesn't seem very probable. Well, apparently they do have breach in their deck and an Arcanist, which is a little strange. So if they escape 3, I think if I counter this, actually the Soul Guide is another card. Hmm. So they escape 3. So if I counter this and they use Soul Guide, I'm dead. If I allow it to resolve, it's effectively the same thing. So I think I'm supposed to just counter it and hope that the opponent misses. It's not going to happen, but have to take her out here. And that's going to do it. Yeah, we're dead. We're just dead. I'm going to concede instead of wasting time. All right, so we're 4-2. We are likely not in top 8 contention anymore. There's only 66 players today. That said, coming into this round, I was in the middle of the 4-1s, and I think if I want to top 8 this, I would have needed to be towards the top of the 4-1s, but who knows. I'm going to play out the last round and just, try to win, see where we can fall. The final round, we are facing Kenzaburo. We're on the draw. And according to Goldfish, our opponent almost exclusively plays Xerox decks. It's worth noting that we were in 10th place coming into this round, so there's maybe a small chance that if we make it, or that if we win, we make it. So who knows? This might be a win and it might not be. I guess you'll know if we win, and then we'll see from there. Well, step 1 is one game at a time, one match at a time. So this hand is 5 pieces of mana. I don't love it, but it's probably okay. Ren and 6. Land was not ideal. Force a negation, strip mine. Jeez. We have plenty of lands. Protecting my colored sources over the islands. It's just not a card we can allow to happen. So I think I'm going to attempt to counter the Deathrite Shaman, because my plan is to play Lurrus and attack the Wren, and I can't have Deathrite blocking. Wow. Oh. Am I really supposed to force this? Brutal. That was such a feel bad. Breach would be a pretty fantastic draw. We know their opponent still has Force Negation. That was pretty good. So I could brain freeze myself for 6 and hope to hit something I can bring back with Lurrus. I don't think it's the craziest play. It does take us off red mana, though, which is unfortunate. I like the top. Oh, they're going to play another run? Oh. That was backbreaking, and they still have force and negation. Pretty far behind now. There are no red sources to get with that fetch. I think I'm supposed to just shuffle. Probably on their end step. So they can't get Ancestral, so they're probably getting Gush. Brainstorm. I mean that makes sense. They have a lot of lands in their hand. This was fairly decent. Trying to claw our way back out of this. Okay. I'm not going to top in my upkeep because I'm going to cast Whisper, so if we draw cards, I don't want to look at them more than once. Breach, breach, breach. Not that good. They're most likely sitting on a Pyroblast. So our goal is to draw Pyroblast and then top in a Breach and get Black Lotus to resolve and then double, like, or force our way through. Like, that's the best plan. Vamp is a good one. 5 colors with no Astrolabe. And no Lurrus. Alright, we really need this Black Lotus to resolve. Step 1. We got there. Hell yeah. I can't believe we somehow won that. Alright, so Bolt seems like it's probably pretty good here. Fluster seemed decent. Wow. Maybe go down to 1 Remora. Like, they have a lot of creatures and stuff that they can use to play around this. Like, it's really good on the combo turn. I'm just not sure how good it is overall. So I think I'm going to try this out. Let me know if you think that that's wrong. I could board out the Opal, but once again, I'm really concerned about like keeping our deck being fluid and doing what it does. Also, you'll see that game, I would have loved an Opal for a colored source, so I don't really want to get rid of that versus the Wasteland deck. And Lurrus did a hell of a job that game, knocking down Wrens and whatnot, so pretty big fan of that. That was an absolutely insane game. Wow. What turn was it? That was turn 11. I don't even go that high in my spreadsheet. I have 10 plus. And I will definitely keep this. Two on top. Damn. We're already behind. I'm going to attempt a PO here. I know that I'm playing into Force and Negation, but they could have Fluster on their turn, and I'd rather just not do that. Wow. So what does this do? I think it passes and wins with backup next turn. Like, theoretically, I could PO again right now for 2, but I'd have to hit one of our 2 opals, ruby, or lotus petal in order to win. Yeah, I'm just going to pass. Ancestral and a brainstorm, so our opponent's hand is probably fairly stacked. Alright, don't care about Dreadhorde right now. I mean, next turn, if they get another turn, it matters, but for me trying to kill my opponent on my turn, it does not. So we actually want to draw another initial mana source. Another red source would be nice. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That was actually huge. That was brutal. Can I win through that? I don't know. Okay. I think the answer is now yes. I think we got it. They're seeing a couple more spells. So I can deck them right now. Let me hold priority. Nice Nile Spellbomb. All right, we finished 5-2. If you see me again, that means that we made top 8, and if you don't, that means I didn't. But 5-2 is still very respectable. Our losses were to Dredge and 4-color Breach, where I feel like our opponent drew a little bit better than we did, but that happens in Magic. Nothing to beat yourself up over. This list really feels good against blue decks. I faced a majority of them today and crushed them when our deck did its thing, which is really what you base your deck evaluations on. I'm going to try to do something a little bit different with this video. I'm going to upload the Vintage Challenge as one long video. If you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, if you like it or dislike it, let me know in the comments below. I just want to try it out. It's been a while since I've done that. Get some new metrics on whether or not viewers enjoy that more than separate videos. Hopefully you'll see another round. And if not, take care. Thanks for watching. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.